Hey, what's up? I'm Ollie Efford. So if you're a designer like me and you work in the world of tech, big tech, or even Web3 for that matter, you'll probably have noticed that things are getting a little easy. Hear me out. The tooling you're using are getting faster, better, and cheaper, and the lines are beginning to blur across industries, from designers coding and engineers drawing rectangles. But we're in the midst of what will undoubtedly be the biggest transition in how we approach design: the AI revolution. So picture this. That's it. It's that easy. When I say AI, you're probably thinking about an ethically questionable humanoid robot in a post-apocalyptic film. We're not there yet. This is in fact something pretty enjoyable that you could try out with friends, and it's taken the design industry by storm. Midjourney, OpenAI, and DALL-E, to name a few, are artificial intelligence teams that are building tools where you input a prompt. And this prompt can generate an image based on your entry. Special shout out to @GamWeaving on Twitter for letting me use the art that you saw in that clip. Now, I've tried out AI tools over the years that have been nothing special in particular. They're not really up to scratch for the type of art generation, artifacts generation even, that we're talking about in this video. But they're interesting for a joke amongst friends, so that's kind of cool. But the things that you see surfacing online now from the three teams that I've just mentioned are insanely good. So this could change how we interact as a design industry, because the mental models required for us to produce these types of assets will change. The mediums in which we interact with these assets will change. And the skills needed to write these prompts. So kind of like how Googling is a skill, it will be the same for this. So you remember how UX was never really talked about, and you would essentially do most of your web work in Photoshop on an A4 canvas which was static. And then iPhones came along and we had to design for mobile interfaces, and then we started to see these tools like Sketch and Figma pop up with their infinite canvases. And essentially that made design much easier. Well, that's kind of where we're headed again. So here's an example, right? Let's say you need to build a web app on a tight budget, and you need to look for someone to help you out with the designs, the mock-ups, the illustrations, the icons, the wireframes, the storyboards, whatever it might be, and you've got to connect with them. So you connect with them on, let's say, Fiverr, for example. I'm not sponsored. So you settle on a fee and they agree to produce those assets. And when they do, you don't like them. And then you'll pay for iterations, and this extends to all things like video, illustrations, art. These are all things to consider. Now let's keep this in perspective still. So I'm not saying that the entire design industry is just going to go away. Far from it. I actually think that this will enable an entirely new field of design where people can interact in a different way. So you'll input prompts instead of designing traditionally, conventionally, and will help iterate and build and rapidly prototype much faster than what we can currently achieve, which is great. It means that maybe you'll be able to spend more time in a creative role. You'll be able to spend more time on the problems as opposed to actually solutionizing them. Also, the tools don't necessarily meet those demands right now. As it's still quite niche, but power is most definitely there. So I still find it useful to keep up to date with these types of things and interact with them and learn how they work, and maybe develop a few skills in a medium that I can continue my career in. I think it will be useful for you too. So if you're looking to stay ahead of the curve, they're free to use, they're free to experiment with. I put the links down in the description for each of them so that you can go and check them out. They're super cool, lots of fun. Highly recommend them. There are also other ways that I think our industry will completely change over time, but I do want to cover those in a separate video, things like no-code solutions and Web3. So yeah, I'll save those for a later date. So if you're interested in more UX-related content, you can check out some of my other videos on the topic, and I'll see you in the next one.